Hello, I just want to welcome you to Unit 4. This will take us all the way until finals week. It will be a fast unit. It's really just 3 weeks, and then your essay will be due actually on the Monday of finals week. You are always welcome to turn work in early, but that will get the essay to me and give me plenty of time to grade it. I will have it graded by the end of finals week, and then that also gives you the rest of finals week to worry about your other classes. So we will be reading the novel The Sirens of Baghdad. It is interesting to note that despite the author's feminine name, he is actually a man, and he is a former Algerian army officer, and he took up the pseudonym so that he could write without being censored by the Algerian army when he was still still in the military. He now lives in France, and he writes frequently about the Middle East and some of the things that have been happening there over the last 10 to 15 years. As always, you'll want to go into the modules, and you'll see the overview for Unit 4, talk a little bit more about the book, include some images. I really love this book. I think it's an incredibly interesting story. It is not what you expect in the end, and I think it's really interesting to see how a young man who is very close in age to many of you, deals with some very challenging situations. I do want to make sure that everybody is open-minded and respectful of each other. We all have very different views and beliefs and experiences that may shape the way we read this book. And just keep in mind that you want to always be polite. You can disagree, but do so with some thought. I do also want to remind you that you may not use an NQA coupon for your final essay, so you need to make sure and plan ahead. If you have not used one or both of your NQAs this semester, you will get some extra credit. You don't need to do anything. I have a tracking system, but it's important that you recognize that. Finals week is very busy for everyone, and I cannot be delayed reading your essays, so they have to come in on time. I hope that you can plan accordingly. I wanted to talk about a couple other things quickly. Sorry, my computer's a little bit slow. I have a lot of optional things in this unit for various reasons. Again, we only have 3 weeks, and I really want you to focus on the reading itself of the novel. But some of you may become very interested in what we're reading about. Some of you may want a bit more information about the author or the context of the story. So I have quite a lot of optional information. It is nothing that I expect you to look at, but there are some things that you might be intrigued in. If you have questions about the timeline of events in Iraq, I have a link to that information. There's a really interesting interview with Yasmina Khadra. He does speak French, but his part of that interview is subtitled, so you can read his comments, which the interview is about 2 years old. I also have some sample essays from previous students. Their assignment was a little bit different, but that will give you an idea. If you've never written about a fictional piece and integrated research with this type of reading, you can see how some other students, including an A+ essay. I've been teaching writing for 20 years, and I've probably given out 3 A+s in my life. So it's an excellent essay. Again, really interesting documentary from the PBS series Frontline on the Iraq War, but it is optional. You're free to use any of the optional material as part of your research if you want, but none of it is required. We will have a discussion each week. No peer review work for this essay. Again, no NQAs for that last essay, and it is due on Monday. I know that's not a typical due date for us. Finals week always operates a little bit differently. Classes meet at slightly different times, sometimes different days, and getting that essay in Monday is the only way that I can ensure that I am done grading by the end of the week. If you have questions, please let me know, and I hope you enjoy the book.